Today, we're in the ancient market town of Abergavenny. Yes, we've returned to Abergavenny, but we've come for a very special occasion. So we'd like to start by saying a big hello to Oliver and his mum Kate, because this is their hometown and I'm sure they're going to recognise a lot of the places we showed today. But we're actually here celebrating Caroline's birthday. That's why we've chose to start just in front of the Angel Hotel that's behind us. This is the back entrance. We'll show you the front view as well, but the car park that you see behind me now once would have been for stables, because there's been a hotel on this site for about 300 years, and its main purpose many years ago was as a coaching inn on the run from London to Milford Haven. So there would have been stables out the back here. All that's changed. It's also been a very famous place for celebrations as well. Grand balls, and there was one ball held here in 1838 during the Abergavenny Eisteddfod, and the reason that's of note is that it was recorded that it went on until 5 AM in the morning. Now we didn't stay till 5 AM in the morning, but it was in the Angel. We celebrated Caroline's birthday together and we had a lovely time as we shared a nice tea. Well, let's take a look around the town and show you some of the places that caught our eye.
Carrier gifts. Let's have a look what they've got in here. Oh, lots of dogs. And it's a frog on a motorbike. Oh yes, we all need one of those in our life. And we got a big fat love spoon. A gigantic bulb. Whoa, look at the size on that. Over here we got a miner's lamp and a miner. And a very small miner. He's a miner. And we've got a windmill. And a very small Welsh rugby shirt. Look at that. Ideal for your toddler. And we've got a sheep. And of course a dragon. Postcards, anyone? We've got some sheep. They're in England, they're in Wales, and they're saying "Bwrdd, good morning." And a sheep again. Whoa, look at this bank. That's a bit of posh, isn't it? The door's modern.
Very modern, yes. Self-opening device.
This because the rest of it, you see the carving of the word bank and there's some faces up there. Hello. Is it a bit chilly up there in the wind? I bet it is. Look at that. I bet you felt grand when you were coming to bank your take-ins from your business all those years ago. Pull up outside with your horse and cart and drop off the money. I suppose some of the people dropping the money off here would actually have had some of the first cars and be looking dead posh when they turned up. Absolutely stunning. Even if it does have a catch point in the wall, which does ruin the ambiance slightly.
Lovely round window above the cash point.
Oh yes, look at that. It's a round window. And that's his house. Which is a strange word. This is not the same either. It stands out. I wonder if
quite new.
That was been brought in from somewhere else. It seems strange to have it carved with the word house when it's not a house. And if it's that modern, why would they put house above the cash points? They'd be better off putting cash. So I do wonder whether that's been brought from somewhere else. What do you reckon? There's the Angel. They do a wonderful afternoon tea. I can confirm this. Very nice. Oh, the poor flag's all wrapped around and around because it's so windy today. And let's have a look in here. Oh, they're turning round. Let's have a look what's on the other side then. When they eventually turn. There we go. We've got Lanviangle, £595,000, a little cottage.
Nice little bungalow.
Oh, that's nice. I like the conservatory on that in Govillon. And that is 1,150,000. Now, if they took the million off the front of there, we could buy that.
I'd buy 2.
And then we've got a little cottage in the street there, 399,950 in Crickhowell. Very posh in Crickhowell. And down in Mardy here, 220, and they got one more posh one. Let's have a look there. Oh, it's sort of posh, £385,000. Very nice. You can have the haircut. Or buy yourself a posh outfit. Oh, look at that. Which one shall I have? Not an outfit for washing up, so that I look grand in my kitchen. Shall I go for the pink one? With the pink hat? Oh yes, I look very posh washing my dishes. Wearing that. Ooh, let's go in the market hall. Well-behaved dogs all needs welcome. Oh, we haven't got a dog. We've got a panda. I suppose we'll be okay. Abergavenny District War Memorial.
There's no market today.
Oh, Tuesday general market, Wednesday flea market, Friday general market, Saturday general market, and nothing on today. But can we get in? Let's see if the door's open for us.
Yeah.
Nope. You have a look in there.
And here we are at a much older location. Yes, you know me, although it's lovely to see the shops and the buildings, there's also the ancient history. We visited the castle on a previous occasion here at Abergavenny, and we'll put the link for that video in because that's an amazing place. But this is today St Mary's Church, where the parishioners of Abergavenny worship, but was established initially in 1087 as St Mary's Priory. The Benedictine monks had quite a life here. Right alongside it, they built the tithe barn, where 10% of all of the local people's produce was brought in as a tax payable to the monks. This particular church, originally the Priory, has been regarded by some as the Westminster Abbey of Wales, because throughout the centuries the nobility have chose this as their final resting place. Right through from the Normans, through the Tudors, the Stuarts, the Plantagenets, there are representations of nobility from all those times that have taken up residence here for their final resting place. It also houses some amazing pieces of art. Numbering high among those is an oak carving from the 15th century of Jesse, the father of David, which is believed to be one of the best of its type in the world. But as I mentioned, the tithe barn is something special too, because that barn has stood since the 14th century, and in the 15th century it had problems of its own, because in 1404, when Owen Glyndwr ransacked Abergavenny in an uprising, he burnt the thing down and the thatched roof was gone. the local people rebuilt it, but they put a heavier roof on, but it's still standing, still an amazing place. And a representation of way the buildings are transformed. As I say, St. John's Church was the parish church, but in the 1540s that became King Henry VIII Grammar School. This became the parish church. The barn, well, that's been an auction house, it's been a theatre, it's been a warehouse, it's been a discotheque in the 1970s. It's had all sorts of uses. Today it houses a collection of beautiful things, and I believe there's a resident artist there. One of the things it contains is a tapestry created by the ladies in this area. 60 ladies, 4 years, 400 shades of wool to create 1,000 years of the history of Abergavenny. And what a beautiful piece of art that is.
Oh, look at this, isn't it grand? Let's walk down the aisle. Oh, I can just imagine some procession with the choir singing, perhaps a wedding. Imagine a bride walking all the way down this aisle to get to the front to get married. You'd feel very posh. Oh, look at those arches. Beautiful fluted columns going on up to the arch and then up into that ceiling. Ooh, very nice. Let's have a look at this pulpit. Oh, I love that. To the honour and glory of God, a gift. I wonder who donated something like this. Beautifully carved. When you think, if it was wood, it wouldn't be so impressive. But the fact it's stone is just amazing. And we got a chainmail dangly bit there. Oh, and there are angels blowing trumpets. Oh, that's excellent. Let's have a look at this window. Wow. It's enormous. Beautiful flooring, lots of tiles, a little bit of damage, but pretty good condition. And there are the steps to go up into the pulpit. Should we go have a look? This is what it would feel like for the minister to walk up, look out over all the seats, and everybody could listen to him preaching and saying his words of wisdom. This is a pre-Reformation bell dated 1308. Spared from Peel of 8 when melted down and recast in 1948. 2 new bells were added to the recast bells to make a peal of 10 bells. Inscribed, "May the bell of John last many years." Let's have a look at that. Look at the size on it. I don't know if you can see, that is about my waist height. It's pretty impressive. That's better. We'll have a human demonstration of size. That's rather big. And look at the size on the clanger. Whoa. I'll put my hand there. Really big. Due to the choir stalls, look at these carvings. Hello. Who have we got over here? Hello there. Lovely carvings. That's a dragon. Very fitting. We're walking over gravestones. Here lieth the body of Lewis Jenkins, soap boiler, chandler and tobacconist of this town, deceased 17th of October 1757, aged 46. Also here lieth the body of James Williams of this town, druggist, who died October the 5th, 1826, aged 31 years.
But I just wanted to comment on, as I mentioned outside, this gorgeous, gorgeous piece of art. It would have been an altarpiece, and according to the information, that there on the front is the base of a tree, and that would have been the family tree, depicting all the descendants of Jesse. It would have stood about 30 foot tall, they believe, and would have been one of the most magnificent pieces ever created. But it fell during the Civil War. Parliamentary troops came through, and this was destroyed in part in the 1640s. But still what is left, this beautiful carving of Jessie from one piece of oak, is a masterpiece. And I think it speaks for itself.
That's pretty impressive. Bodies everywhere, but they're not real bodies, they're marble ones. I think we should go have a look.
And here we are on the far side of town from the Priory Church and all that ancient history, and behind me is the building I spoke of, Colosseum Cinema. Yes, it does not have the history of hundreds and hundreds of years, but this definitely has a history and a story worth telling, because it opened in November 1913, just a few weeks after the terrible explosion in Llangennith that killed over 400 miners, the worst in British history. And it was decided on the night they opened this cinema that all the takings would be donated to the disaster fund for the people of Llangennith. And there were other acts of charity by the cinema, because over the years they gave a great deal of funds to local nursing associations. And then in the days of the workhouse, they allowed the men of the workhouse to come in on a Saturday afternoon and watch the film. And in World War I, when the soldiers were wounded and sent to the hospital here, they were allowed 2 free entries to view movies in the Colosseum. But again, as I say, a repurposed building that's now a restaurant owned by the Wetherspoons Company, and somewhere that we have visited on a number of occasions in order to enjoy a meal. Well, we're going to pop now to another location, more familiar, which I've already mentioned, not to take a look around, but just to escape from the hustle and bustle, because editing this piece is going to be hard work with the amount of passing traffic. Just popped into the castle just to get away from the noise and the hustle and bustle of the high street, just to tell you about a few more properties that we've seen today, because there is real history linked very often to public houses. because as the angel we mentioned, you know, that's been there since the 1700s and still serving people today, as you could see with Caroline and myself having a wonderful time there for our birthday. But just across the road from the angel, there's an even older public house, the King's Head. Now that was there in the 1600s, and it has its own particular history, because in the early 1800s there was a meeting in the long room there, an assembly of men known as the Abergavenny Volunteer Infantry, and they had gathered to stave off any invasion by the French during the Napoleonic Wars. And then later in the 1800s you had the Chartists movement. We've spoken when we were down at Newport of the protests that took place and the Chartists march to Westgate Hotel where the troops opened fire. Many were arrested that day, as we said, but here's an interesting link. One of the jurors that sat on the trial of those Chartists that were arrested, he was the landlord of the King's Head. There truly is so much history everywhere. And of course, not all the public houses are public houses today. The cinema, as you've seen, became a restaurant and public house, but there is a public house, the Swan. Well, that has become shops today, and the building's been repurposed. But it was repurposed previously as accommodation for the American forces that were billeted here during the Second World War. So history that spans so many decades, so many centuries, and all to be found on our high street. Of course, there's one building right in the centre of Abergavenny town that typifies what Abergavenny has been about for centuries and continues to be about to this very day, and that's the Market Hall. The Market Hall was only built in the 1870s, but this has been an ancient market town. It's an amazing hall. The frontage is done in a continental style. It didn't just house the main market, it also housed the corn exchange, where all manner of grain was traded. There was the Poor Laws Office, where the paupers of the community could come and ask for help. There was a council chamber. There were meeting rooms, assembly rooms. There was all manner of things built into this amazing building. The assembly rooms later became a theatre, the Borough Theatre. That was in 1906, and in the 1960s, on the billing was the Beatles. Yes. So much happening in that place. It has a fantastic tower with a clock on it. That stands out above the town. That was paid for by a local industrialist here in Wales. But he passed away in 1872 before the building was finished. And it is said that the rear face of the four-face clock, the reason it's black while the others are white, is as a mark of remembrance of the man who paid the £500 to build the tower. It also housed the... That's going to go really... I think we'll edit that.